Hello, Q Services, Qwashers, eBay and YouTube. So what I'm going to do today is talk about interpumps or pumps and unloader setups and setting them correctly. Two different forms, obviously working off an engine and working off a motor. This one at the moment what we're going to do is show you how and how it works. So the first thing that we've got here is the intake. Now the water inlet has got a filter on here and you'll notice that it's a solid steel fitting. That can either go at that side of the pump head, or if you wanted to, you can put it and resite it at that side, whichever's convenient. When you're using a mobile machine that's being moved about and it's not enclosed, what we don't do is use this filter. This filter is a cast filter. It's a very cheap filter out there, but it's cast. That can soon get snapped off on the neck of the thread, and it can take you 5 minutes or 5 hours to get that out of the brass head. So rule number one, if you're using a petrol machine and moving it about, go for the solid fix on the filter system. And like I say, you can put that filter at both sides depending on the machine. This unit that we're using here, WS98, this pump is going to deliver 100 bar at 11 litres per minute. The next crucial part is the jet size. So an 05 jet is the correct jet to work alongside 100 bar at 11 litres per minute. So what we're going to explain next is unloaders and so on. So there's two types of unloader out there really. The trapped unloader, this one we're using here is an ST261. There's the VB range. Obviously if you're using it with an electric machine, you'd have it with a switch on to make the machine automatic stop start. When you're using petrol machines, what you simply got with a trapped unloader is if you've got a leak on the hose gun and lance, at that stage that machine, and we've all had it and we all do it, a gun that's leaking, the machine will start surging. Zoop, zoop, zoop. At that stage you've got load all the way through the keyway system and onto the engine. That's where we get shaft wear at. We on petrol machines always use flow sensitive, whether it's K1, K5, whichever size for the machine itself. It means then that the machine is under no load whatsoever. When you let go of the trigger you can have a leak on the gun and it will not make that machine surge. It takes all the stress and strain away from the whole system. And you would obviously automatically have a dump system returning back to a tank that you're sucking from. This one here, what's simply happening is your water's going at the bottom side as we've set this one up here. So your water comes in on this port. We've got the low pressure side here, and this is also low pressure as well. When it gets into the top side, you can either choose this side to go to for the high pressure outlet, or that side. Doesn't matter which way around you put the unloader. When you let go of the trigger, the water automatically returns back on this system, back in to the bottom side and circulates round. So the water is circulating round the pump. We've got a pressure gauge on this system as well. So you can actually see what pressure the machine is working at. Same again on a mobile system. When you're setting up, you're better off setting it up on a quick release system. You can put it into your system as you're using it, see what it's doing, and then take it back out and put it back in your box safe. If it's on a fixed machine, you're okay to put the pressure gauge in and leave it in there if it's not being moved about and so on. So what we're going to do is look at this unloader. This is an unloader that's not fit at the moment. So what you've simply got here, you've got your inside from your pump, and you've got your outside, the high pressure outlet. You've then got your bypass port. Now that can be connected to the pump and go to the bottom side of the pump, or you can let it dump onto the floor. How we set this unloader is crucial as well. So when we've put this correct jet in, so the machine is doing 100 bar at 11 litres per minute, it's how we set the unloader up correctly. And what we're going to do is show you the correct way of doing. So what we've simply got here is the ST261. At the top you've got the screw here that can be undone. You'll also see that you've got a grub screw in here as well. So when you come to set this unloader up, what you'd simply do is you'd take the pressure knob completely off. Now what you will find is this Allen key also, if we unscrew this, will also move up to the top as well. Underneath there, if you unscrew the lot off, and this is if you're wanting to set it correctly, you've got this. This also moves up and down the shaft as well. So what we'd simply do is loosen that off and move that up the stem. Put the unloader back together, and screw this down behind it. So when we're using this machine, this is your inlet now, this is your inlet side, that's your outlet. The best way of doing is leaving this port off and blanking off on the unloader, or simply watch the pressure gauge. So as you pull your trigger, you're watching the pressure gauge rise up. As it gets up higher and higher and higher, you should have less water coming out of the bypass port, the dump side. So as you're getting up to pressure, you're screwing this unloader right the way down, and what you can do is lock the 13mm off on there. So as you're screwing this down and down and down, the pressure should be increasing. You will find that you've screwed it again and all of a sudden the pressure is not increasing. At that stage you are set at your correct pressure. Lock it off, set the grub screws back up in place, and simply put the 10mm back on and the knob back onto it. You're then set at the maximum pressure. It means that if you screw this down any further, you will not increase any more pressure, it will not be able to be screwed down. That is the correct way. So what simply happens is, you're pulling your trigger, you've got your high pressure coming out of your jet, you should have maximum pressure coming out with the correct size for the pump, the correct size jet for the pump. You should have nothing coming out of this bypass port whatsoever when that machine is running. Only time that comes out is when you let go of the trigger and it returns either onto the floor or it turns back round into the bottom side of the pump. So what I've simply got here is an ST261 with a pressure switch. This is for an automatic stop-start machine. So what I've simply got is, we've got 3 wires. We've got the earth as well there, but what I've simply got here is 3 wires that make the machine so it can be automatic stop-start. We should always not try to make a machine that as soon as you let go of the trigger, the machine stops, pull the trigger, it starts again. All you're doing is putting strain on that motor, because every time you're doing a job, stop, start, stop, start. A bit like a Qwasher. So what you've simply got here is the 3 wires. 2 combinations work normally open, and the other 2 combinations of the wires work normally closed. So if you're wanting, obviously you put your meter on here to find out which 2 give you a message. That will then make it so the machine itself is automatic stop start. So when you pull the trigger, you've got the message for the machine to start up, let go, it would automatically stop itself. Thank you very much. Q Services, Qwashers, eBay and YouTube.